All right, today we're jumping into one of the most incredible accounts of sacred craftsmanship you'll find anywhere, the making of the priestly garments. We're getting our hands dirty, so to speak, in the book of Exodus, looking at the divine blueprint from chapter 28 and seeing how it all came together in chapter 39. And let me tell you, this is about so much more than just clothes. It's a story of divine instruction, human obedience, and how every single tiny detail matters.
Right out of the gate, the very first verse of Exodus 39 sets the stage perfectly. It tells us the why behind all this. This wasn't some creative project they dreamed up. No, every thread, every single stone, every piece of this work was a direct, faithful response to a command from God. This was all about precise, unwavering obedience. So, who do you get to turn these divine blueprints into actual, tangible things? Well, the text points us to one man, a master craftsman named Bezalel. He and his team of skilled artisans were filled with the Spirit of God, given the incredible honor and the immense responsibility of crafting these garments of absolute dignity and honor. Okay, so the first major piece they get to work on is the ephod. You can think of this as the foundational garment for the high priest, kind of the base layer that everything else connects to. It was sleeveless and woven from the absolute best materials they had. We're talking gold, fine linen, and these incredibly rich colored yarns. It was truly a symbol of the honor of the high priest's office. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. How in the world do you make gold thread in the ancient desert? I mean, you can't just go buy a spool of it. Well, Exodus 39, verse 3, tells us exactly how they did it. First, they took pure gold and hammered it into super thin sheets. Then they cut those sheets into fine wire. And finally, they masterfully wove that gold wire together with the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. Just an incredible display of skill, inspired by God. And the ephod wasn't just beautiful. It was packed with meaning. On its shoulder pieces, they set 2 onyx stones. Engraved on these stones were the names of the 12 sons of Israel. Now, as Exodus 39:7 explains, this was a constant memorial. What does that mean? It means the high priest was literally carrying the names of all the people on his shoulders whenever he went before God. Attached right to the ephod was the next critical piece, the breastpiece of decision. And believe me, this was no ordinary accessory. It was a sacred pouch designed to hold special items used for judgment. And as we see in Exodus 39:8, it was also made to carry the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, placed directly over the high priest's heart. And how were these 12 tribes represented? It wasn't just with writing. No, they used a stunning set of 12 precious stones. Each tribe got its own unique gem, which turned the breastpiece into this vibrant, colorful symbol of the entire nation, all unified as one people. I mean, the level of detail here, which you can read about in Exodus 39, verses 10 through 14, is just jaw-dropping. 4 rows, 3 gems each. Look at this list: carnelian, topaz, emerald. It goes on and on. Each and every stone was engraved with the name of a tribe and then meticulously set in gold filigree. What a breathtaking piece of work.
Now, underneath the ephod, there was the robe. The instructions in Exodus 39 were very specific. It had to be woven seamlessly, made entirely of blue yarn, a color that people often associated with the heavens. But the really unique part was the hem. It was decorated with this alternating pattern of pomegranates and tiny golden bells. And this just shows how every single detail had a purpose. You had the pomegranates woven from all that colorful yarn symbolizing fruitfulness and life. And right next to them, you had the golden bells, which had a super important practical job. According to Exodus 28, their sound would signal the high priest's movements, letting everyone know he was ministering in the holy place and was safe in the presence of the Lord.
But that wasn't the whole shebang. The full outfit was even more detailed. As Exodus 39, verses 27 to 29 tells us, the craftsmen also made finely woven linen tunics, beautifully embroidered sashes, and linen caps and undergarments for Aaron and his sons. Every single piece was designed to be holy and to bring dignity to their service.
And finally, we get to the crowning piece of the whole outfit, the holy crown. Now, this wasn't a crown like a king would wear. It was a pure gold plate fastened to the front of the high priest's turban, and its meaning was just so profound. It was all about his role in bearing any guilt tied to the people's holy offerings, making sure those offerings would be accepted by God.
And this slide right here really hammers home that theme of perfect obedience. On the left, you have the command given to Moses back in Exodus 28.
And on the right, you have the execution of that command by the craftsmen in Exodus 39. The words are identical. They didn't ad-lib, they didn't take creative liberties, they did exactly as they were told.
So this inscription was everything. These 3 words, "Holy to the Lord," engraved on pure gold, set the high priest apart for his sacred work. It was a constant, visible declaration of holiness, the very thing that allowed the people's offerings to be acceptable to God.
After what had to be months of incredibly intense, faithful work, it was done. Exodus 39, verse 32 puts it simply. All the work for the tabernacle, and that includes every one of these intricate priestly garments, was finished.
So now we come to this pivotal moment. Bezalel and his whole team, they gather up every single piece, the ephod, the breastpiece, the robe with its bells and pomegranates, the tunics, and that golden holy crown, and they present it all to Moses, the man who had received the original divine patterns up on the mountain.
Can you just imagine the tension of that moment? I mean, they had poured their spirit-given skill into every detail. They'd followed the instructions to the absolute best of their ability. But was it right? Was it perfect? Was it exactly as the Lord had commanded?
And here it is. The answer. Exodus 39, verse 43 gives us the climax of the whole story. Moses inspected everything. And what did he see? He saw that they had done it just as the Lord had commanded. It was a perfect fulfillment of the divine blueprint, and what was his response? Moses blessed them.
What a powerful story. It's this incredible testament to how detailed obedience and spirit-guided creativity can create something truly sacred. You see, thread by thread and stone by stone, human skill lined up perfectly with the divine pattern. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What could we create in our own lives if we approached our work with that same level of precision and sacred purpose?
Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more timeless truths. And don't forget to read your Bible daily.